Hello there, Dr. Shirk with Gulf Coast Wellness, and I'm coming back to answer part 2 of the question, how do I pick the points? So if you watched the first video, you learned about the longitudinal arrangement of the body and the agonist-antagonist relationship and how the points that we choose relate to those two concepts. If you haven't watched it, I'd go back and watch it now. The next question people usually have is, why don't you just stick the needle where it hurts? So the example we gave in the last video was a shoulder pain here. Why don't I just put a needle right here? Now, if you go to a physical therapist who's doing dry needling, which is just acupuncture without proper training, they will in fact just stick the needle right there. And there is some chance that that will relieve your pain. Sometimes local needling does work. So why don't we do it in our clinic at Gulf Coast Wellness? Okay, so the first answer is mechanism of action, how acupuncture works and how pain works. Most pain is neuropathic. That means that it's caused by a problem with the nerves, with the nervous system. The main place where pain is coming from is the midbrain. So inside the brain, in the midbrain, most chronic pain results from a dysfunction in the decoding of nerve signals in the midbrain. Okay, so if I stick a needle here right into my shoulder pain point, besides the fact that that's really going to hurt the place that already hurts, it's also not going to address my midbrain at all. However, distal acupuncture is actually designed to work by stimulating the midbrain to relieve the pain. And so it's hitting the core of why you've got a chronic pain that won't go away. The other reason, answer number 2, is when you do a local treatment, so sticking the needle right where it hurts, you actually increase inflammation in the area. I mean, just think about it for a minute. I've got inflammation here, it hurts. I'm sticking a needle into it. The body says, wow, that hurts more, and it inflames the area more to try to heal this new injury. Now, it's a small injury, but it does trigger the inflammatory cascade. When I do a distal needle, let's say I treat agonist, antagonist, like we said in the last video, I don't have any increase in inflammation here. So I get an increase in circulation. I trigger the midbrain to reduce the pain, but no increase in local pain or inflammation in the area. And the reason that this is important, besides the fact that it's no fun to have things get worse before they get better, but the other reason it's really important is that the midbrain doesn't just control the pain, it also controls something called muscle inhibition. So that is the thing when your brain decides that you should not be able to move part of your body. So you get stiff and locked up. It's very rare that people have pain and don't have any problem with their range of motion. Usually you'll see something on a range of motion test where they don't move as well as they should. And that's because the brain has decided that because the area is injured, so I have pain and inflammation here, I should probably not move my shoulder as much. So then we get this thing where it goes, like this or like that or something. Because the brain has told the body, don't move that part. It inhibits the nerves that move the muscles and keeps your range of motion locked down. When we treat distally instead of locally, then what happens is you actually reduce muscle inhibition immediately within seconds of starting the treatment. So in our treatments, what we'll do is we will put the needles in and often actually have the person move the area again. And they'll find that the pain has reduced and the range of motion has increased really quickly. With a local treatment, after the area eventually heals, because a local needle will stimulate some healing in the area, when it eventually heals, which usually takes some weeks, you should eventually see improvement in range of motion. But it will be one of those situations where it gets worse before it gets better for a lot of people. especially if it's a really severe pain. And so those are really the basic reasons. We don't want to create more pain, more inflammation in the area. We don't want to create more muscle inhibition in the area. Our goals are to get the pain down as quickly as possible with as little pain during the treatment as possible and have the fastest return of function and range of motion as possible. So I hope that made sense to you, and we'll see you back here soon with some more frequently asked questions. Bye.